Fighting games. A genre of game that could look like this. Or this. Or maybe even this. Some may argue this. A genre of video games that I've seen a lot of people having problems getting into. There's this barrier to entry for enjoyment for fighting games that I think a lot of people have a problem breaking through. A genre of video games that means a lot to me personally. I grew up with them, and I just want to say, man, I love fighting games.
Ready?
Hold on a moment. Let's run it back a little bit here. Imagine for a moment a small child. Now imagine that small child is me. When I was younger, I used to go to places with a decent amount of arcades. While the first fighting game I played is kind of hard to remember, I do remember putting my grimy, greasy pizza fingers all over the joystick and buttons, smashing away, hoping that I could do something despite the game eating all my tokens I had. But then, we got an N64, and a little game called Super Smash Brothers. Hold on! I hear those fingers about ready to type on that keyboard. Smash isn't a fighting game, Law. It's a party game. Shoosh. I'm not going down that rabbit hole today. This is how I got into fighting games, and man, I would have never had a fascination with this genre if it wasn't for this series. It lit a fire under my little competitive butt. It was such an easy starting point to get into the genre. As a young kid around the age of 6, it was easy just to get in, mash some buttons, get a straight hit, and get that KO! When playing a traditional fighter with anyone older than me, it was like staring at a cliff. I could win Smash Brothers. And what a series to grow up with. The N64 game was an amazing start to the series. While dated now, and the characters not even having the full movesets that they would have later, this game would be a launching pad for one of the most beloved series Nintendo has. The N64 was my first Nintendo console, and I didn't even know any of these goobers. Who is this robot? Man, I really like this pink little blob. And hey, at least I knew Pokemon. The amount of friends that would come over and we would just spend the entire time playing this game. More times than I could count. Then me and my friends moved on to Melee when that game came out, and I'm pretty sure I don't have to tell you how much of an amazing game that is. It is the competitive base for platform fighters today, and hot dang what an upgrade. More series for me to be introduced to, more characters for me to play, more stupid nonsense to do for with me and my friends. To the Hyrule Fight Clubs, to the 1v1 me bro on Final Destination with no items. When I was a kid, if you had something to prove, this was the game to prove things in. Then Brawl came around, and while it was good for a while, it had some general gameplay flaws that a certain mod came around to fix. Smash 4 brought the game to handhelds, and Ultimate, man, where do I start? A culmination of the entire series, all the characters in one place, so many third parties coming to the table in DLC. Ultimate is a love letter to video games, not just Nintendo games, but video games. I'm sure that if you are around for the DLC cycle of this game, you remember every single trailer for it. The trailer that announced Joker was coming to Smash at the Game Awards had me so loud that I was pretty sure the cops were gonna get called on me for a noise complaint. I absolutely adore Smash as a series. The simple gameplay keeps drawing me back again and again and again and again. What's my favorite? Well, that's hard to say because my favorite platform fighter isn't a Smash game. I know some of y'all will call me a furry, but gosh dang, this fudging game! Rivals of Aether just slaps, alright? There's something about the speed of the game, the way the characters move, the music. Oh, the music! I love this game so much, it's so hard for me to talk about. I just want to grip it and squeeze all of the good juices out. I've been playing this one video game since the first public beta came out for it. Before the whole roster came together, before the DLC, I was there. I was honestly there before it was even publicly playable. Gobbling up as much content as I could for the game. When the purchase button popped up on Steam, the first second I could, I smashed it and then couldn't stop playing the game. When it got released on Switch, I bought the game again. Every character just feels super unique. Raster has air strongs, and his whole game plan is to pop the other player up in the air, juggle them until he can hit them with that one big hit, or just ladder combo them right off the top of the screen. Or Kane, besides being the cutest, look, I even have a plushie, has his little puddle where he puts it down not only to recover, but to shoot bubbles out as a trap. He also uses those bubbles to zoom across the stage. Look at that man go! Clarin, my favorite, has a mechanic where there's a sweet spot on the tip of her sword, and if you get a hit, extra hit stop. AKA the time frozen when you get hit. There's one main difference between this game and Smash. There's no grabs, there's no ledges, and there's a parry instead of a shield, and I honestly love that. It forces you to use your character's tools and movement as a defensive option. This game just flows so well. While it was more focused on being a game geared towards the competitive community with a lot of support for them, it also has some features that casual players will adore. It's got tetherball, abyss mode, and on PC, Steam Workshop. Ever want Ronald McDonald to be the most OP character in the whole game? That's there. Want to make the game an Undertale platform fighter? There's characters in the workshop for you too. If you've never heard of Rivals of Aether, please, I beg you to go check it out. If the base roster is doing nothing for you on PC, you have hundreds of other characters of varying different qualities on the Steam Workshop. Hell, 4 of the characters from the Steam Workshop got a glow up and ended up in the full game's roster. Also, Rivals 2 is coming out soon. Editing law here. Yeah, Rivals 2 is released. It's taken me this long to make this video, and Rivals 2 is fully out, so if you want it, go buy it. And you bet your bottom dollar as soon as I could, I donated to that Kickstarter. I love platform fighters, but that is not all of my love for fighting games. So let's rewind the clock again. Let's go back to when I was a slightly bigger small child. I had a GameCube, and I loved playing Melee at the time, and the Legend of Zelda series was one of my favorite game series at the time. Link is just so cool, you know? Then there I am in the game store, and I see Link's face plastered on a game box. I had no idea what this game was, but I needed to play it. And honestly, I don't quite remember if I rented the game over and over and over again until me and my brother finally got it, or if we bought it off a whim one day. But this game changed something in my brain. Soul Calibur 2 changed everything for little me. See, fighting games were not something I knew existed as a genre until I got my little grubby hands on Soul Calibur 2. Smash Bros. Got that competitive spirit going, but Soul Calibur 2 lit the fire of the love for the genre. I specifically remember having cravings to play games like Soul Calibur 2. Now, unlike Smash, this game is a little bit more of a traditional fighting game. Life bars, timers, and rounds, you know, the works. Just you and one other person in the ring with weapons stabbing, slicing, and blocking until someone goes down. It just hits that unga bunga part in the brain, you know? But what made me so attached to this game out of some other games I had at the time? It was the characters. Soul Calibur's roster is just so dang cool! Look at Nightmare! How could he not be the coolest thing on the planet? Or at least that's what my 10-year-old mind thought at the time. But in the GameCube version, you had Link as a guest character. But outside of the guest characters, you had a character like Keelik, a man with a bow staff, and just, man, he looks so cool doing it. Or you had the undead pirate captain, Cervantes. Or look at Yoshimitsu, a cool, strange samurai guy. Mitsurugi, Astroth, Taki, Talim. They're all just so dang cool. The way they were animated and the finesse that some of the characters wielded their weapons with just captivated me. Besides the characters, there was the Weapon Master mode. Well, in hindsight, it's not the greatest mode, just clicking a spot on the map and fighting a fight, but as a kid, it felt like I was going on an adventure, and I was unlocking stuff while I was doing it too. There were sub-maps where I had to navigate dungeons, where fights got hard because you couldn't get tripped or the floor would explode, or the floor was made out of ice or lava, or an earthquake would happen. It kept me playing and learning about the characters' movesets, about the lore of Soul Calibur and Soul Edge, and just allowed my imagination to run wild. On top of all that stuff, it was just very easy for little old me to actually learn the game to a level where things were getting fun. Most moves are a lot like Smash Brothers, where it's just a direction plus a button. It allows you to do moves that make you feel cool. Alongside all the cool effects and the soundtrack, it just kept me coming back for more. Team battles against friends, doing all the arcade modes, trying to unlock everyone's weapons. It just doesn't feel like they make fighting games with this much content anymore, and it's why this game is still my favorite in the whole series. It's also the first fighting game series that has future games that came out that me and my brother would try to get them as soon as they came out. Soul Calibur 3 introduced a character creation system, and my young brain made so many original characters and made them fight and made stories in my head. Each game after that feels kind of off in my honest opinion. If you want to know the rankings, it's 2, then 6, then 3, then 4, 1, all the way down, then it's 5. They made my favorite character, it's Keelik, by the way. The random moveset every round character. My boy didn't deserve that. If you've never picked up a fighting game in your life before, I would honestly say that Soul Calibur 2 is a very good place to start. Like I had stated before, there's a lot for casual fighting game fans to enjoy here. Also, the best version is the GameCube version, and I will not have anyone say anything else. Spawn and Heihachi are mid. Link is peak. Speaking of peak, want to learn how to do an infinite?
Yo, you want to learn how to do a f***ing infinite?
That's right, it's Marvel, baby! Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the PS2 was the other regular fighting game that I had growing up, and boy, does this game slap and a half. The large roster size, the fast-paced gameplay, the soundtrack. Can I go for a ride? You bet your ass I can! This game screams late 90s and early aughts, and I'm here for it. It's heavily unbalanced, has some pretty broken things in it, has characters that are just jokes, but it's so much dang fun. This game has a man whose entire kit it is to keep you on the other side of the screen with just a few buttons and so many laser beams. Then on the opposite side of the spectrum, you have just a little guy character. Look at him, he means no harm. He just wants to set the table and eat hot chip. This roster is so good, y'all. Nowadays, I play this game through Fightcade when I want to play this game with friends, but when I was a small child, I played the game on PS2 and the roster was locked behind gaining points and buying them. So when you start, half the roster is locked and you have to unlock the rest. And being a dumb little kid, I didn't know a majority of the roster.
Who are you people?
I knew Spider-Man and maybe Captain America, and that was it. I didn't read comics growing up, and I grew up with a Sega Genesis and an N64. So every character unlocked was a brand new character. Oh, what did this person do? Oh, they're a weird tentacle man. How do you pronounce his name? I don't know, I can barely read, so Oogle Slosh it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Who is this Mega Man? The coolest character? He has one button that just shoots a big bullet, so he has to be the best character, right? No, Servbot is the best character, because he's super small and annoying to fight. I had no idea who Jill was. But she could summon zombies and dogs and birds, and that was cool. So I'm just sitting there mashing away at my controller, and then one day, out of nowhere, I summon a massive zombie with Jill. How did I do that? Did you see how I did that? How did I do that? Every little thing about this game just lit a fire in me. How did I do that cool thing? Could I do it again? This game was the epitome of cool. Its cool menus, the soundtrack that I still can't get out of my head to this day.
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride. I want somebody to dry your eyes. Drive me crazy, but I won't let you go. Excite me.
It is also one of the most important fighting games in fighting game history, and I had no idea how important it was. That never mattered to me too much. This game was just a fun way for me and my friends to beat the ever-loving snot out of each other, despite how bad we were at the game. After all these years, I'm still washed at it. I have no idea how the combo structures work, some characters make my brain go soft and mushy, and how do charge characters work? I still don't understand it. How do you rock back and forth in just the right way? The moves never seem to come out when I want them to, and how do you use them in combos? God, I hate charge characters! Marvel 2 will always hold a special place in my heart as the game that showed me how cool fighting games could be, and I will never regret growing up as this being one of the 2 fighting games that I owned at the time. And it would be a while before I really delved into fighting games again. Besides Smash Brothers being in the background of my life constantly, I would go on to play other games in other genres. I mean, DDR was a big part of my life too at one point. Shout out to DDR Mario Mix, that game was my jam at one point. A new fighting game had entered my life that would fundamentally change my love for the genre for years. It all started when one day my best friend came up to me after class in high school. There was a game he got because of a small video he found, and little did I know that one video would change my life forever.
I smell food. Hey, booby lady. Tao is Tao Pop.
BlazBlue holds a massive place in my heart. This game is so weird, man, but it's also like one of the coolest things in existence. You have really cool people like Ragna the Blood Edge and Terami kicking each other's asses, and then on the other end of the spectrum you have a Catman and the hottest witch you've ever seen having a kid. Yes, that happened! I could go into a huge tirade about how this game's lore and story is so weird and convoluted, but that may be a video for another day. I mostly say this because, good lord, is it confusing! Another time, another place. This video is all about that gameplay! BlazBlue was my first anime fighting game, and you're probably asking, Blah, what is the difference between fighting games? Aren't anime fighters just fighting games with an anime look? No, they're not quite the same. If you took a look at Street Fighter and BlazBlue side by side, there are a few things that are different. One thing is the movement. Most anime fighters are known as air dashers, which means you can dance in the air, hence the term air dasher. But from my experience, anime fighters also have a tendency to do really long combo strings. I mean, in BlazBlue Continuum Shift, the character Arakune can just combo people forever. I think I've seen in a BlazBlue game a 300 hit combo. That's a 300 hit combo without the super. And I know there are some games where the super will do a lot of hits, but this is normal gameplay. This game goes so deep, it's hard for me to list all the mechanics of what differentiate it from other games. But trust me when I say that the tutorial comes with the game, feels like it's mandatory. But that doesn't stop me from enjoying the craziness with my friends. Like I said before, it all started with that video of Tao Kaka singing her own theme song. I then got invited over to play, and it cemented me and my best friend's friendship forever. The nights spending playing the story mode and laughing at the gag endings, the Hazama mirror matches where we were making Michael Jackson noises and doing his stupid spin kick moves. Learning how to even do an astral finish. So, funny story about that. We were playing the endless mode in the game, I believe it's called Abyss mode, and we were playing as Lychee Fei Ling. We had this thing called the pole strategy used to cheese the mode. Lychee has this move where she jumps on her staff and you can kick repeatedly and the AI has no idea what to do. But we didn't really know what an astral finish was or how to do one, and I was doing the move that would cheese the AI, mashing all the buttons, so to say. Well, when Lychee is on her pole, her astral finish is very easy to do under the right conditions and you only have to press like 2 buttons for it. So we hit it and the music starts playing and my god, I am so sad they didn't carry over Continuum Shift's Astral Finish song because Shinso is the perfect song for it. It's such a freaking bop, man! And the astral kills are instant! They just rub the salt in the wound that you lost the fight and you don't care because the banger song comes on and you get to see a kick-ass thing happen on the screen. I mean, Tagger takes your ass to space and back to the planet, and then he gets out of the crater like it was nothing. That's so cool! I honestly have no idea how many hours I've spent on this series, but it means so much to me, and is the reason I have such a love for fighting games. Through these games, I've made a best friend for life. It sparked my imagination through all the cool character designs, the settings, the power system, the music. This one game series, I feel, opened up the door to a whole genre that I had only scratched the surface of. After playing this game, it seemed like a whole new door opened up, and a whole new world was there for me to discover. I looked for similar stuff to BlazBlue, and of course, I came across the devs. Arc System Works. If you know anything about fighting games, you know these guys. Guilty Gear, BlazBlue, Granblue Fantasy Versus, Dragon Ball Fighters. It made me want to get into fighting games competitively. I bounced around to a lot of different games and I kept going down the rabbit hole and was now a whole fighting game fan. I could go down that rabbit hole with you for hours, but we'd be here for another half a year. But I would like to take a quick fire round of games that mean a lot to me. Let's start off with one of those games I mentioned earlier. Dragon Ball Fighters, a frantic, fast-paced 3v3 fighter based on the series by the late, great Akira Toriyama. I've never spent so much time in a training mode. Every combo in this game just feels like no matter what you do, you feel cool. And much like BlazBlue, the combos can go on real long in this game. While it is easy to start learning, it is very hard to master. One thing about this game is that it's been out for a while. So if you go online, and this goes for most any fighting game that has been out for a long period of time, you'll get your face rocked. People know this game inside and out, but if you like Dragon Ball and want to get into fighting games, grab some friends, look up some resources on learning, and fight it out. I mentioned Street Fighter before, and by gosh, is it a fun series. I've been playing Street Fighter when around Street Fighter 4 came out. I rented that game a few times, but it never really caught my eye, suited my taste, so to speak. However, a friend of mine adores Street Fighter, and then he got me turned on to Third Strike, Street Fighter 5, and lastly Street Fighter 6. These games have something different about the last two games that I have talked about. They are very very grounded games. You jump and your jump arc is set in stone. No air dashes, no air guards, no nothing in the air. Most combos start on the ground and end on the ground. Combos are short but powerful. The cast of characters are iconic in their own right, and it also has one of my favorite characters from any fighting game, Akuma. And his raging demon, his super, is iconic in its own right. It's an amazing entry-level series. Start with what looks like fun, grab some people, and fight on some streets. BlazBlue connected me to yet another series. Through BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battle, that's a mouthful, I was introduced to a series called Under Night in Birth. If you ask me what the characters are about, or what the story is, I have no idea what to tell you. All I know is that the game's mega fun. A little studio known as French Bread made it, a studio that also created a game called, I don't know, Melty Blood. So this game is super wacky with its mechanics. Bars all over the screen, characters who attack that reach the whole screen, and just a really fast-paced game. Every character in this game has something super unique about it. A grappler whose claws are massive, a reaper with big ol' scythe attacks, and Mr. Wiggly Arms! And a character that I love playing so much, I got a Charmander. I wish I could play more of this game, but I didn't have a lot of people to play it with online, and the people online kick me to the curb every time I play on there. I have platted this game on PS4. I've gone through a large amount of combat trials, and I wish I could talk to more people about this game and play it with other people, but not a lot of people have played this game with me. So if you think this is interesting, take the plunge into the night with some friends, and I'm sure that it'll be plenty of fun. You smell that? That's the smell of the game! Guilty Gear Strive, the latest hyperfixation of mine in terms of fighting games. This game's style is off the charts. An album with a fighting game attached to it. A more grounded air dasher that still has the core of an anime fighter. Flashy and stylish, Guilty Gear Strive is one of the games that I keep coming back to over and over again. A new character comes out and I come back to the game and try new combos. I enjoy the characters, especially Brisket, Budget, Bridget. Is one of my favorite characters in any fighting game to ever come out. Also, Nago Ryuki is like one of the coolest character designs to ever be created in a fighting game. A vampire samurai with a big ol' sword? Come on, that's so dang cool. Look at his helmet! It's at one of the top spots for my games in terms of animation, in terms of modeling, in terms of style. This is one of those games that just keeps on giving to me, and I just love about it. It's a lot easier to get into that of some of the other games in the series. So if you want to get into Guilty Gear, I would suggest starting with Strive. Pick up your controller, give it a shot. The online is actually pretty good for new people too, so if you think this one might be right up your alley, go ahead. Take the smell of the game and go. There is one last game that I want to talk about here, something that is also pretty close to my heart. I want to talk about Skullgirls. Where to start with this one? An indie fighting game that got released all the way back in 2012. It recently got its most recent DLC character as of last year. First time I ever played this game, I was at a convention with a few friends. One of my friends spotted it across the game room and were like, hey, no one's sitting at that table, let's go play that. We had no idea how the game works, but we were having fun. Flash forward a little bit and the game goes on a Steam sale, and me and my best friend get the game and the DLC for $5. We go at this game for so many hours. The jazz soundtrack alongside the hand-animated characters pulled us in, but the gameplay kept us going. This game is very unique as a fighting game. A team-based fighter, whether that be a 2v2, a 3v3, a 1v3, anything goes as long as you have at least one member and up to a maximum of 3. For the assists, you can choose whatever move your team member can use. It's a very open system that allows for a lot of player expression. Like a lot of the games I talked about before, this one has the ability to have very long combo chains, but this game also has ways to break said combos. the infinite prevention system. Say that combo gets too long in a certain way. Bam! You can burst out of the combo, but the system knows that it's coming. And if you know it's coming, you can bait the burst and boom! Your combo keeps going. All of these systems that are in place cause the game to be super fluid and expressive. Maybe one of the most expressive games that I know about. This game means a lot to me. Maybe not as much as BlazBlue, but it did give me more friends. When I was in college, things weren't going super great for me. My mental health was in a bad spot, and I only had maybe 1 or 2 friends. I had just changed degrees, and I was having problems meeting new people and talking to them. A game night was organized by the school, and I wanted to go just to talk to people, play some games. That's when I started playing fighting games with people there. Dragon Ball, Soul Calibur, Super Smash Brothers. While I was starting to make new friends, it was Skullgirls that connected me to 2 friends who pulled me into getting better mentally. It's the main connection that connects me with the rest of my friend group. But I guess it wasn't just Skullgirls, was it? Fighting games have done a lot for me, and if this video is anything to go off of, it's also that they mean a lot for me. I've made friendships that have lasted a lifetime through fighting games, and those fighting games help me keep close with those friends. It's helped me through mental struggles for both the ups and the downs. It's sparked my imagination and made me want to create my own worlds and stories. I'm not gonna sugarcoat things. Fighting games are not for everyone. They've done a lot for me, and they've done a lot for other people. I mean, look at some of the cultural impact that they had. Evo Moment 37, the Wombo Combo, and so many more moments. But it might not be for you. You might struggle with the controls. You might not like the music. You might not like the character designs, and that's okay. But if you have any interest in picking up fighting games at all, pick a game that looks interesting. Pick up a character that looks interesting to play, or you like their character designs, or how they look, or you like listening to the music and you just want to listen to the music. Just get some friends who are interested and pick up a fighting game. Fighting games can do wonders, and I hope you find one that clicks with you like so many have clicked with me.
Girl, you made the right mistake. Choose me instead of constant heartbreak. Now let's raise the stakes for one you